Playing the Quebec Nordiques, and with us right now, center iceman Ron Francis of the Pens. Ronnie, I know it had to be a big relief for you the other night to finally get that first goal and poke it in on the play, because it's been so long for you to be able to get a cash in.
Well, it was getting a little frustrating there. I just kept trying to tell myself that I'm 2 months behind everybody else, and this is somewhat of my training camp. So I mean, the chances were starting to come the last 3 or 4 games, and it was just a matter of time. But it's certainly nice to get the first one and break the ice.
Ronnie, go back to the game in Montreal, which I thought, was it adrenaline you were playing on? I thought you played pretty well with the legs heavy, but it seemed like you were going. You probably said to yourself, well, who needs this training camp? But it does catch up with you, doesn't it?
Well, it's the same as coming back after an injury. The first game or two, you're so high on the adrenaline. You're fine out there, and all of a sudden you start to hit that rut, and you slide downhill somewhat. And it takes a while to fight your way out of it and start climbing back uphill. And the last couple of games, we've started to come back up the hill.
I don't think people really realize, I mean, you can tune yourself all you want riding the bike and keeping yourself in shape by skating at rinks, but the actual game conditions are so much more intense, really, than what you do as a workout, isn't it?
There's no question. I mean, I rode the bike probably 5 days a week, and then I was skating 5 days a week, and I thought skating pretty hard, and there's just nothing like game condition. Plus, you got to get the timing and into the flow of it, and just the confidence level again, and everything getting back to where you want it to be. It takes a little time to adjust.
Ronnie, you've played with a lot of different players already at the start of the year. Is that a problem really for you, playing with so many different guys, or you just have to adjust as you go along and try and find the right combination?
Well, I think when you're struggling to begin with and trying to find yourself as I am, it's somewhat more of a hindrance to have new line mates and stuff. If you have the same 2 guys, you tend to get know where they're going to be in certain situations and rely on that. But I think at this level, you get used to playing with anybody at any time, and I think the team really is trying to find itself. And once we do, we'll probably get in a groove and get some lines going.
I don't know. You correct me if I'm wrong, but at times when you pass the puck hard as anybody, I think, from center ice that the Penguins have been involved with, you put a good, crisp pass out there, and I guess that's pretty much a trademark of you, and that takes the other players a little while to adjust to that speed too.
Well, that's one of my strong points, is my playmaking ability, and I think it takes a while for the players to adjust and knowing that they're going to receive that pass and how they're going to receive it. And I like to try and put it in a position where the guy can just shoot it rather than have to handle it and then set it up before he takes the shot.
All right, we're going to go to a new ownership. Of course, you're familiar with the group that certainly has taken over the Penguins, Howard Baldwin and that group. And what your thoughts are as they come to Pittsburgh?
Well, basically, a lot has been made about the fact that Howard and myself know each other. I mean, all I have to go on really is the way he was in Hartford. And in Hartford, he was good. He was well liked by the players. He did a lot of little things. They take the team out to dinner here and there, and he was more of a hands-on type guy, I think, than the players had in the past here in Pittsburgh. And hopefully that's the same type of Howard Baldwin we're going to see in Pittsburgh. I think from a player standpoint, until you have the kind of money that you can buy one of these clubs, our job is just to go out there and play as hard as we can on the ice and do the job that the best job we possibly.
I got to ask you about this because of the Hartford Whalers and several other franchises. Apparently, there is some financial trouble right now. I mean, that's got to make you have a little feeling there for that city of Hartford, where they had a strong franchise, and now they're really on some hard times.
Well, I think in Hartford's situation, just the entire economy is struggling. A lot of the companies are laying off, and the Northeast is really in a lot of trouble. And when it comes time to cut back, it seems that the entertainment dollar is one of the first things that people cut back. And I think that complicated with the fact they really haven't had a successful club there in the last little while, and people are somewhat fed up.
All right, you got the long term. Think ahead, even past that. Do you have any aspirations of what you want to do, maybe when you're done with this game?
I got a few ideas what I'd like to do. I've studied taking some courses. I have a real estate license and a brokerage license, but some other ideas that I really don't want to mention yet because they involve hockey, and I don't want anybody stealing them until I'm done.
Okay, Ronnie. I'm sure they won't. You just keep them right there in the back of your mind. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Ronnie Francis has been our special guest. We'll have more from Quebec in just a moment right here on the Penguins Hockey Network.